You like these doors?
The internationally accepted boundary of space is much closer than most of us realise. Space is only 100 kilometres away from where we are now. It's closer than the distance that I think many of you have come from various parts of the country to be with us today. So space is incredibly close to us, 100 kilometres away, but of course the challenge is that if that 100 kilometres is straight up, and if we want to get up there, we've got to battle against gravity, a force that's dominated the way that life's evolved over millions of years. And if we want to stay in the space environment, we've got to deal with an environment from a radiation, from a thermal, from a pressure point of view, that's far more challenging than anything we experience naturally here on the surface of the Earth. And it was the 28th of January 1986, and I'm going to show all this footage that's about 80 seconds long. And what you can see here is the space shuttle launching. You've got an orange liquid hydrogen oxygen tank with 600 tons of liquefied fuels, minus 180 degrees centigrade and minus 253 degrees centigrade, and strapped on the side, giving 80% of the thrust, the punch to get off the launch pad, and the world's largest fireworks, the solid rocket boosters. Now, although we didn't realise at this stage, the mission was doomed right from the start, because there'd been a failure in one of the solid rocket boosters.
At 94%.
The whole of the United States was watching this flight because for the first time there was a US teacher on board, Christopher Cornell. The US were under real pressure to try to build up their flight rates, and they were ignoring a lot of safety issues that were manifest. So the whole of the US watching, everything seemed phenomenal. We're at 40,000 feet altitude now, we're a minute after launch.
2,257 feet per second, altitude 4.3 nautical miles, downrange distance 3 nautical miles.
Now the engines on the orbiter throttle back as you go through the period of maximum aerodynamic stress. You approach the speed of sound.
Now 104%.
Challenger, go with throttle up. Challenger, go with throttle up.
115 seconds, 2,900 feet per second, altitude 9 nautical miles, downrange distance 7
Solid rocket boosters are still veering off on their own until they were auto-destructed by the range safety officer. And here you can see the debris raining down to the Atlantic, including the American part, which actually survived the breakup. So what happened here? Well, here you can see it. The mission was doomed. There was this plume of high temperature burning aluminium fuel. It was using ammonium chlorate as the oxidizer. Now again, from a health and safety point of view, this has been highlighted by engineers straight after launch, and people were saying, no, we've had incidents like this before, and they've been okay. It's called the normalization of deviance. You know, something happens to go outside your original safety parameters, but you get away with it once, so suddenly it becomes the new norm. Something like this, don't worry about it, it'll all be okay. Well, on the 1st of February 2003, with a hole in its heat shield about this big, Columbia re-entered the atmosphere, high temperature plasma got inside, critically weakened the structure, tumbled out of control, and the vehicle broke up while it was travelling at about 15,000 miles an hour, and the wreckage covered an area of about 5,000 square kilometres over Texas, Oklahoma, and other states as well. And so this high-tech, basically one of the O-rings that was sealing these joints had failed because of the low temperatures. So you had this high-temperature fluid that was coming out, and what it did was it actually melted, destroyed one of the struts that was holding that solid rocket booster with 2.5 million pounds of thrust, which then veered around, ruptured the liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen tank. And what you see here is not a thermodynamic explosion, it's actually the force of about 600 tons of liquid oxygen and hydrogen vaporizing. Now, as far as the orbiter was concerned, it doesn't matter whether it's a thermodynamic explosion or it's a phase-changing explosion, the effect is the same. Catastrophic breakup of the vehicle and death of the 7 astronauts. And you can see how big this plume is when you look at this weather satellite image of the whole of Florida. So that was the loss of 7 astronauts in 1986 going up into space. And then 17 years later, we had a similar, from an engineering point of view, challenge of concerns that were raised by management, which were ignored. And this was the mission, the 114th mission of the Space Shuttle program, called STS-107 because things went out of sequence. Actually, it was 113th mission. And And this was a pure science mission with a crew including Israel's first astronaut. Didn't go up to the space station. They spent 16 days with 2 science modules on board doing an armada of different experiments. And it was an incredibly successful mission. And on the 1st of February 2003, they were launched in mid-January. They got ready to return to Earth. And again, the fate of this mission had been sealed at launch. Because when we look at the launch footage, what you see coming off are these orange foam chunks hitting the outside of the orbiter. Now, these images were seen at launch. People thought it's no big deal. This is lightweight, low density foam insulation that's designed to keep that liquid hydrogen tank at minus 253 degrees centigrade inside. And it's coming off, and you know, a mass this big and a mass of about sort of half a kilogram. Surely hitting a few hundred miles an hour, hitting the outside of the orbiter, it's going to be no big deal. Some engineers said otherwise, but they were ignored. But what actually happened is that when you are coming back into the Earth's atmosphere, 25 times the speed of sound, you compress all the gases ahead of you. That means their temperature goes up to about 2,500 degrees centigrade. Some people call it friction, but it's actually brown air compression. This is what's in the space sector we call a CTB, a crew transfer bag. Everything that goes up to the International Space Station, be it small cargo, large cargo, be it supplies, you will even see bags like this containing water. Everything is taken up in a crew transfer bag because they come in certain sizes. Logistically, they're very easy to put into certain places. Storage on the space station is a big issue with the amount of junk that is up there. What they learned on the Mir space station is that the stuff was always growing inwards from the sides like coral, and they were forgetting where things had been. You know, logistically, it's a real challenge. So each of these crew transfer bags is barcoded, and what we've got in here is, so if we're thinking from a sort of safety point of view when you've got cargo going up to the station, this is how small and medium payloads are packaged. Firstly, you've got material that has been tested for flammability, you've got material that has been tested for outgassing, it's been tested for its structural strength, and then everything taken up is packaged like this. So this is a another backup flight kit. So we have a very simple kit that we had here, but even something like this, you know, I told you the issue that we have with our screws. So we had a design for one of our experiments. We had to use flight qualified material here. When we designed these screws to go in, we passed our vibration test, but when we changed to another rocket because we lost our first payload, the people were saying we're still not sure about whether or not one of these screws are going to come loose. So what we had to do, we couldn't use any glue, so we actually had to then put on this tape for launch that would be taken off afterwards. So this was to secure a screw in case it came loose. This is the sort of level of detail that you go into in terms of flight qualifying stuff. And if you have one change, then you have to go through the whole process iteratively to see what that will impact further down the line. And so, as I say, you can see here how we package everything. And when it comes down to the vibration testing for launch, because this is going to be stowed in the capsule, in the rocket, in a certain configuration. When a rocket launches, you know, sort of going up like this, and then it starts sort of going over like this. So you've got your thrust vector in one direction, you've got your gravity vector in a direction that is changing relative to the thrust vector, which means your resultant force is changing, which means the reaction forces on this are going to change. What it boils down to is you've even got to know if this is going to be stowed in your capsule this way round, you've got to do your vibration testing to reflect that. If you're going to stow it in your capsule this way round, you have to do slightly different vibration testing. This is how fundamental we get to. This particular one, there's Paolo Nispoli who actually took that picture of the shuttle dock to the ISS when he saw this suit is a very, very rare example. It's a Sokol suit, but it was designed for the Russian space shuttle program. So here it is. This was designed not just to keep you alive if the space shuttle lost air pressure, but designed to survive a stratospheric ejection in an ejection seat to up to Mach 3 at up to 30 kilometers. So it's even better than your normal Sokol suit. It's like a Sokol suit on steroids. There it is pressurized. Now I had this suit for several years, and Paolo Nispoli was having a look and saying it was better than his Sokol suit that he flew on his last mission. And then I thought, you know, this is 30 years old. It would have degraded. There's no way I could pressurize it, but I haven't tried it. So I tried it, and it pressurized. So I thought the best way of me showing this to you is to actually pressurize it. And it's really interesting, the little detail. So if you want to have a glove that will
seal and be airtight and rotate. You know, it's really interesting. A simple engineering challenge to have rotational ability here, but to maintain air pressure. This was part of a reconnaissance satellite that flew for 15 days during the Gulf War. It's Cosmos 2083. The paperwork says it is, and it's a capsule that was rated for human spaceflight, but didn't have any humans. It had old spy cameras inside, and this was the window. So this flew for 15 days in space, and the Russians have the same, all the windows for human-rated vehicles, which is what it was, are built in the same factory. So when you look at the windows on the ISS, on the Russian section, you look at the windows on the Soyuz capsule, they are all this weight. And if anybody later carefully wants to feel, it's a lightweight titanium frame, but this has got a mass of about 20 kilos, okay? It's got 2 layers of glass here. It's a double layer, so that if you get failure of one, you've basically got vacuum outside, fully pressurized inside. You still then got a second layer for redundancy. So in terms of space qualified windows, the interesting thing is that this has survived a re-entry into Earth's atmosphere, and there was material that was covering this. Okay, so this wasn't exposed. The glass was exposed directly on re-entry, and it's almost perfect. So windows for space flight that were developed. So yeah, this is now, you see how it changes in nature completely. It becomes quite freaky.
How old is this, sorry?
This was constructed in 1990.
What about temperature? Does it need to...
Well, this one, you've got warm air that would circulate and cool air that would circulate through one of these pipes. You've got hook up to the space shuttle systems, and then hook up to emergency oxygen bottles. So you've got to have thermal control for this, and this uses air. Because it's not designed for a proper spacewalk. For a spacewalk, you'd have liquid-cooled undergarments, which were actually developed by the RAF.
Hi, my name's Owen. I've come along today to the National Space Centre at the invitation of IOSH Staffordshire Branch. I just want to say what a fantastic, engaging experience it's been here today. Really well organised, great chance to network with my IOSH colleagues. Just a fantastic day, some really useful learning to take away and enhance my own career.